Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining me today. I am Stefan, as you can see down in the bottom left corner. Again, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Website X5, and in particular, we're going to be talking about the new web hosting that comes with the software and the domain that you can link to it. So before getting started, I would just like to wait like one more minute and see if you can see and hear me all right. If you can, please just leave one comment in the chat. You should see the chat on the right side of your screen, just to let me know that you can hear me fine. And also, let's just wait a bit more to see if we're getting some more people here with us today. Please do let me know. Don't be shy. Just let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, all right. Let's see. Okay. Just a few more seconds and then we can begin. Oh, hello, AD. Hello to you too. Okay, can you hear me fine? Can you see me just fine? Just a few more seconds and I think we can begin. Hello to you too, Len. Thank you for joining me today. So today's webinar is going to be in English only. English only. Okay. So I think we can begin. So, okay. Just as I mentioned earlier, so today we're going to be talking about Website X5's own hosting service and possibility of linking your own domain to our hosting space, or eventually buy it directly from us in case you never bought a domain before from any other external provider. So if you're a long-time Website X5 user, you probably remember that we used to provide you with a discount coupon that you could use with one of our many partners, such as one.com, once you purchase a copy of our software. But right now, this is not going to be necessary anymore, because if you purchase a new copy of our software right now, and I'm talking about the Pro or the Evo version, you're going to be getting a whole year of web hosting included with your license key. So today we're going to be looking at what our web hosting includes, how much space you get, what functionalities you get, what can you do with it. We're going to be taking a general look at how this works and how much this costs and how to make use of it. So let's start by talking about what you're getting with your license. So first of all, once you purchase a new copy of the software, be this the Pro version or the Evo version, and I'm talking about a new copy of the software, not an upgrade from a previous version, you're going to be getting a full year of web hosting included. You're getting the web hosting both in the Pro and the Evo version, though they differ a little bit because the Evo version comes with 100 gigabytes space. And you can actually create just one email address from which your website is going to be sending out emails. Plus, you are not getting a database on your hosting provider with Evo, since the Evo version does not, let's say, it doesn't offer any functionality which makes use of the database. So it would be like pointless. In this case, the database is reserved to the Pro version, which offers a web space with 500 gigabytes of space. You can actually create up to 5 different emails for sending out emails from your website. Plus, you get the possibility of creating a database. So if you are going to be configuring your project, let's say maybe you want to save data from a form, maybe you want to save orders from your e-commerce directly to the database, you can do this with the Pro version and the Pro hosting space, since you can enable a database on it. So let's say if we're talking technical, these are the main differences between the Evo hosting space and the Pro hosting space. So the number of emails that you can create, the amount of space you get, and the possibility of enabling a database or not. These are the main technical differences. Of course, there's also a pricing difference because as of now, the price of the Evo hosting goes for about $3.99 per month, while the Pro version goes for about $5.99 at the moment. So the price is a little different, but of course, the specs justify this difference in price. So yeah, that's all for the technical part. I would like now to discuss what are the other advantages of using our own integrated hosting space instead of relying on an external one. So first of all, compatibility. Of course, our own web hosting spaces are designed and configured to fully support any website that gets made with our software. So if you're making a new website with Website X5 Pro or Evo and you want to upload your website online, normally you should be taking at least a quick look at the specifications of your hosting provider, of the hosting provider you're choosing, because you need to make sure that it is compatible with the website that you make with the software. In this case, of course, this does not really matter, because if you're purchasing our own hosting space, you are going to be getting a hosting space that is, of course, fully configured to be compatible with the websites you make. So there's no longer any need to be on the lookout for compatibility issues, let's say PHP version, if you know what I'm talking about, or maybe database version. The software is going to be taking care of all of these functionalities, all of these problems on its own. It is no longer your responsibility, let's say. Of course, this makes it much easier and much faster to upload your website online, because you don't need to worry about these things. Also, if we're talking about connecting to your web hosting, so we're talking FTP credential or database credential, such things, these two are not going to be a problem anymore, because if you purchase an integrated web hosting with Website X5, you're going to be getting a different UI in the software for uploading directly to our hosting space, which is going to make it much, much easier, much faster to do. And in order to make you understand this better, I'm going to be showing you the software screen just in a moment. So let's see. Okay, you should be able to see the software right now. In this case, I'm using a test project just to allowing me to show you the basics of this. So normally, if you do not own a Website X5 hosting space, what you're going to be seeing once you go to step 5 to finally export your website on the internet, you're going to be getting this little thing here that says other web space provider. Which essentially means the same as before. So maybe you purchased an hosting elsewhere and you need to configure the software so that you can export your website onto that hosting space. You're going to be selecting this option right here, and then you need to configure, of course, all of the classic fields like the URL, the destination folder, the folder in which your website is going to be uploaded. Then you can click on the parameter button right here, where you need to configure the server type, the FTP address, the username, password. Also, in the data management section, you need to configure the database if you're going to be making use of a database in your project. These are, of course, all the data that you would normally need to upload your website to make sure that you can upload it correctly. The database credential if you need to use a database. Well, from now on, if you're using a Website X5 hosting space, all of these data are no longer be needed. Let me be clear. You will still be able to get the FTP data, the database data, if you need them, maybe for accessing your hosting space with a third-party software. But you're not going to be needing them if you need to just upload your website online from Website X5. Because from right here, as you can see, you can click on this field right here. You can see that I'm getting multiple choices from which I can select the first one, let's say. All of these choices, you're going to be getting more choices according to how many hosting space you purchased. because as I mentioned before, you're going to be getting one free hosting space, and by free I mean 1 year free. Then you can decide whether to renew it or not with your license key. But should you want to upload more than one website, you can always purchase more hosting spaces from us, and then they will appear in this field right here. You can see that I have 2 available right now. So I can click on the first one, I can click on the second one. And as you can see, I'm getting the URL field filled in automatically, the destination folder too, although I can change it in case maybe I need to upload my website on a subfolder for some reason. And also the parameter button has disappeared because there's nothing you need to configure there anymore. The software will take care of the FTP data, of the database data, of all of the email configuration. You do not need to configure that anymore. All of this will be taken care of automatically. So I'm sure you can see how much easier and faster this is going to be making uploading your website online. Just to sum up what we said so far, so you're going to be getting advantages as far as uploading goes, as far as compatibility goes. Then you get 1 year included in your license. So this also, of course, allows you, let's say you're purchasing a new version, you get your hosting space, you can immediately upload your website online if you want to see how it looks like once it's online. Also, maybe you want to share your website with somebody while you're still developing it. So by doing this, you get an URL that you can share with other people where they can see the website as you are developing, as you are building it. Yeah. And then we're going to be talking about the domain part, because that part you can see right here. Let's say, for example, I just purchased a new copy of the software. I got my own hosting space right here. You can see that it generated a URL automatically for me, which is made up of my username, then this .websitex5.me. Of course, this is an automated domain that gets generated automatically, so that you can immediately start uploading your website online. But of course, that would not be fit for a real and actual website to be put online. So right now you have a few ways where you can link your real domain to the website. So you can either purchase it from a different provider, external hosting provider, and then link it to our hosting space. Or you can now also purchase the domain directly from us. So just a few weeks back, you had to purchase the domain from an external provider and then link it. But right now you can also purchase it directly from us. Or if you already purchased the domain from an external provider before, you can move it completely to us. So let's say you do not want just to redirect your domain from the other provider to us, but you want to move it entirely. So of course you're going to be paying the domain renewal to us and not to the external provider. You can do this as well. I'm going to be showing you how to do this. Since this is not done from the software, I will be closing the window down and I will be showing a different screen, which is this one right here that you can find on your own profile in our official help center. In case you've never used it, it's helpcenter.websitex5.com. So you can just log on to here with the credentials you use to register your copy of the software. And then you will see that you will get a My Web Hosting section from which you can check any hosting provider you currently own, whether it be the one linked to your license or in case you purchased a new one, they will all be listed here. So in this case, I have this hosting space right here with my automated domain name. In this case, let's say now I finished building my website and it's time to put it online. I've tested it online. I can see that it looks just fine. Of course, I simply cannot keep this domain name for my real website. So as I said before, you can either purchase it externally and then link it to us, or you can purchase it directly from us or move it to us from an external provider. If you're interested in doing that, you would just go to the Buy Domain button right here. You can click it, you can see that it asks you for your website name. So I'm going to be inputting the website name I want. It can be a new website name if I'm sure that nobody registered this ever, or it can be the name of the website of the domain name I already purchased externally. So for example, if I write test.com, I can just click on search. And of course, it's going to be telling me that the domain test.com is already taken, because of course somebody registered this already. Of course, if the domain was free, so nobody had registered this before, it would just ask me if I wanted to register this domain anew and then link it to my hosting space. In this case, it's already taken, so if I own this domain, I can just transfer it. In this case, I would be clicking on the next button. Then the software will ask me to provide the authentication code or auth code, which is a classic code that you need to ask to your other domain provider. They will provide this code to you. You can put it here, and this will allow us to transfer your domain from the external provider to us. This entire procedure is made automatically. You just need to insert your data for completing the payment. Once that is done, we will take care of transferring the domain without needing any further input from you. Once this is done, which might take a few days at best, you will find that the domain name has been successfully transferred to us, and this name right here will turn into the domain that you transferred. This would complete the domain transfer procedure. Technically, at this point, there's nothing else we need to do. The website should be up and running, and you're now free to upload your website anytime you want to update the content of your online portal. Okay, so I believe this covers the domain part as well. Of course, when I mentioned the prices for the web hosting Evo and Pro before, those prices are subject to changes that might change in time, but the domain price will most likely always remain the same, because the domain price is actually not established by us. The domain price is a universal price that you're going to be needing to pay in order to transfer your domain, while the hosting provider is going to be subject to changes, as I mentioned before. If you purchase a new hosting provider and then you need to renew it once it's going to expire, you can receive discounts for renewing your hosting provider. This is, of course, not going to be happening for the domain, because it's a completely different story. So yeah, that's about it for pricing as well. So the last thing I want to show you is what the hosting panel is going to be looking like once you own your very own Website X5 hosting space. So if I just click right here on Access, I'm going to be redirected to this screen where you can see you have your domain management that you can use to link a domain in case you do not have a, let's call it normal domain like I have here. The email section where you can create your email addresses. You can check on the email you're receiving, which is only going to be enabled once you link a domain to your website. So if you do not link a domain to your website, you're not going to be able to use the email functionality. You cannot create new emails. Your website will still be able to send out emails, but it will use an automatically generated email address instead of the one you want. Then you get the FTP section right here. As you can see, you're getting all of the normal data you would be getting from any other external provider. Again, in case you need to connect to your hosting space with any external tool such as FileZilla. And the same goes for the database. You can get all the database data here in case you need them, because again, you will not be needing this if you are uploading your website via Website X5. All of these credentials will always be handled automatically by the software. You don't need to worry about these. The upload process is going to be much easier, much faster once you start testing this out, in case you decide to purchase a new copy of the software. So yeah, I believe that about covers it. Yes, I think so. Yeah. So I believe I've explained all of that needed to be explained. I hope my explanation was clear enough. I hope everything I said made sense. If you have any questions about anything I said today, maybe if you have any doubts, anything of the sorts that you want to sort out right now, feel free to ask a question in the chat. I will be more than glad to answer it if I can. So let's see. Okay, so I see that AD is asking about HTTP and HTTPS. So yeah, about the SSL certificate, which commonly you need to ask your provider to enable it for you. Normally, once you purchase a domain, they usually just give you the HTTP version, which means that it's not fully secured with the HTTPS protocol. Normally, in order to do this in any external website, you need to do this from your hosting panel. In some cases, you need to contact your hosting provider so that they can enable HTTPS for you. And this usually comes free of charge, so you don't have to pay anything to do this. In this case, if you are using our own hosting provider, if you purchase the domain from us, it will be automatically enabled as HTTPS. So you're not going to be getting an HTTP version of the website. Everything is already configured and set up to be as secure as possible. You don't need to worry about not having a secure version of your website, because that is going to be taken care of automatically by our service as soon as you register your new hosting space. So AD, I hope I answered your question. If I wasn't clear, again, please just let me know. I'm here to clarify any doubt you might have. So yeah, let's see if there's any other questions I can answer. Anything I wasn't clear on. Let's see. So I see, okay, another question that asks, how many websites can I upload to a single web space? So technically, you can upload any number of websites on your hosting space, as long as the space allows for it. What's important to understand is that even though you can upload as many websites as you want on a single hosting space, you can only link one domain. Um, you can only link one domain to it. So if, let's say, I wanted to upload more than one website, maybe if I want to upload the same website in different languages, I can make use of subfolder in this case, just like you would normally right now. So let's say my website is called website.com and I want to upload an English version. I would just create a new folder, a new subfolder in my hosting space, then upload the website in there. So let's say my subfolder is called English. Then to reach the English version of my website, I would go to website.com/English, and then I can upload the website in there and have multiple websites on the same hosting space with the same domain, just a different subfolder. You cannot link more than one domain to the same hosting space. So let's say I cannot link both website.com and portal.com to the same hosting space. If I want to do something like this, if I want to have multiple names for my website, I need to purchase an additional hosting space. So only one domain name per hosting space, but you can upload as many websites as you want on a single hosting space. I hope this too is clear. I hope I answered your question. So let's see if you have any other kind of doubt, any other question for me that I can answer. Let's see. I don't think I'm seeing any. Okay, I'm seeing just one more that asks if you can upload any kind of website to the hosting space. So let's say yes, you can upload any website to our own hosting space. Of course, the hosting space is already configured to fully support any Website X5 website, but you can actually upload any kind of web file in there. Let's say if you have files you want to upload to test something out, you can. Just remember that if you have an Evo hosting space, you will not be getting a database, so no database functions on an Evo hosting space. On a Pro hosting space, you can definitely do that. That is a possibility. So let's see, I don't believe I'm seeing any more questions, so I just assume I was extra clear. Okay. Okay, I would say that then that is about it. Okay, well, that's perfect. Okay, I would just like to remind you, in case this webinar was helpful to you and you're actually thinking about purchasing a new copy of the software to test the new hosting system out, you can make use of our discount coupon that you can use right now on our official web store. It would be webinar 30, so it's like webinar, like the word webinar, and then 30, like the number 30. You can just insert that once you reach the cart in our official store, and you can get a discount right now, about 30% on the purchase of a new license. So thank you again for joining me today. Of course, I hope this was helpful to you. In case you have any further questions that you were unable to ask today, please keep in mind that you can just contact us anytime via email or via phone or via our official help center, as I've shown you before. So if there's anything I missed or anything you still want to ask and you didn't get the chance to, feel free to contact us on the other channels that I've just mentioned to you. Thanks again for joining me today, and I guess I will see you on our next webinar. Have a good day.